Hello, everyone. Welcome. I'm so excited to have so many amazing women with me here today. We are going to give you a little sneak peek, a little insider's sneak peek behind the scenes of what it's really like to be inside the Business Alchemy Circle program. If you're new here, then you might not know, but this is a 6-month business accelerator program for women entrepreneurs who are wanting to grow their income and impact through their business and make more profit and also have a more aligned business that really is purposeful and meaningful and creates more freedom, flow, and fulfillment. So if that's you, you're in the right place. We're going to give you a little sneak peek today. The cool thing about all the women on this call today is that they are all at different stages of the journey inside the Business Alchemy Circle, which I think will be really fun. And we'll kind of give you a sneak peek of like, what's the journey really look like and what's possible for you in your business through this experience. So without further ado, I'm going to give them the opportunity to introduce themselves and share a little bit about what they do and their businesses, and also how long they've been in the program. So we are going to get started here. How about Elizabeth goes first?
Sure, thank you. So I'm Elizabeth Anderson. I'm the owner of Embraced Wisdom Resource Group, and I do everything data, statistics, quantitative research. So I work with anybody and everybody to work with their data, strategically use their data, figure out what information they need to pull from their data for their business and for life. And this is my third session of BAC. So I've been in the program for about a year and a half.
We're figuring out the tech here.
Hi, I'm Stacey Barber. I physically own a Pilates and gyrotonic studio called the Mindful Body Pilates Studio in Charleston. And I am also the owner of Stacey Barber Coaching. It's a transformational life coaching business and mindset mentorship for women who are really ready to unveil their inherent truth and worth and really step into what their life is calling them to do. So I have been in the BAC for, this is my second round, so almost a year. So it's been really, really beautiful to be with some of the faces here for that long. It's been great.
Hi, I'm Natalie, and my business is Out of Neutral, and I've been in the BAC program for about 2 months, so new. But my business is what I like to call career coaching with a little bit of a twist. So I work with women in the corporate world that are feeling underwhelmed, frustrated with their careers today, and are ready for a change, but not sure exactly where to start. So I work with them to figure out where their passions are and how they can bring that not just into their career, but into their life overall.
Hi, I'm Sarah Graham. I am the founder and owner of Natural Florals. I started my business, took it full time about a year and a half ago, and I've been in the BAC now for 5 months. Primarily what I do with my business is event florals, so mostly weddings, bar mitzvahs, baby showers, bridal showers, you name it, I am there decorating away. For the most part, my business is in the green industry of the wedding industry, which I'm really proud to be able to say. So most of my material comes from local growers. In fact, a lot of the growers that I work with are also young entrepreneurs who are female. So that's pretty exciting to be able to kind of be a part of that network. And yeah, I don't really know what else to say about it, except that I do flowers.
Hey, I am Naomi Shanti. I am owner of Alchemy Tattoo and Fine Art. And I opened my business in December of 2000. 2 years. Basically, my business focuses on custom tattooing as well as commissioned fine art. And I specialize in soulful tattooing to where I empower, create a healing space for my clients, and as well as for the artists that work for me. I have been in the BAC for just about a year, and it has been amazing, totally amazing.
Okay. Hi, I'm Taylor Mobley. I am the owner of Blonde and Ambitious, which is a lifestyle blog, but I also do coaching for mothers in business who want to turn their side hustle into full-time income so that they're able to stay home and make an income while also raising their babies. And I have been in the BAC for 2 months, same as Natalie.
Amazing. Thank you all so much for introducing yourselves. As you guys can see who are watching, we have such an amazing group of women who are soulful, but also just like super ambitious and driven and doing all sorts of things across all kinds of industries. So thank you for that. The first thing I'd love for you guys to share is just how did you find out about this program? Like, how did it fall in your lap? What were you looking for? And how did you first connect with me and this community and this experience? So whoever wants to share. Okay, okay, Taylor.
Okay, so I love this story, if you remember, Emily. So I had been looking for a program like this for several months, and I had created a vision board for myself for the next couple years, just really trying to manifest all of the positivity and success that I was looking for. And I had put a picture of Emily on the board, but I didn't know her. I just loved the vibe of her picture. And it went in my business coaching section of my vision board. And when I was looking finally to actually sign up for a program like this, I stumbled across her website and I thought, she looks really familiar. And then when I exit out of my screen, her face was on my computer desktop. And I was like, it's fate. This is what I need to do. So I immediately filled out an application on the spot because I felt like it was just something that was recurring in my life and I shouldn't ignore that prompting.
That is one of my favorite stories of all time, which is like synchronicity that can happen and just the magic of like how people find this experience. And I love that. Like all of you have found this through such a cool, like random series of events and synchronicities. And it just feels so aligned. Like when I was hopping on consultation calls with all of you, and when I was, doing the process of enrollment and things like that, it just was like a hell yes on every level. It was so cool. And I love that that can happen in our businesses. Like that's what I want for all of us. So Sarah, let me hear from you next. How did you find this?
So definitely by accident, but also I would reckon that it was the universe kind of pushing me in that direction. I had been looking to rebrand my business just since the beginning of the year. I was feeling like it just wasn't representing what I wanted it to. It wasn't going, I wasn't attracting the clients that I wanted, and it just didn't feel like what I had out there was really a good representation of me as a designer or as a person. So I actually met Emily by chance. She came to a workshop that I was hosting at a local shop in my hometown. And it was a terrarium workshop. So we were working with plants, which was is my favorite thing in the whole world. And I met Emily and she told me what she did. And I was like, I think I need that. And there was a little bit of resistance on the part of my husband, but he was like, you know what? You do what you need to do. And Emily's like, you need this. And I was like, yes, I do. So I showed up and I'm so glad that I did. I'm just so grateful. And yeah, got an amazing group of women along with it. So pretty cool.
Yes, so awesome. All right, so the next question for you ladies, I feel like we're doing a little like Jeopardy quiz or something. My next question is, what was going on in your life and business at the time that you decided to join the Business Alchemy Circle? Because I know a lot of women come into this experience and they have a few similar, like from my perspective, it feels like there are some similar things going on. You're at sort of this moment in your business that's sort of like a crossroads moment where you could go one way, you could go another way, or you could kind of stay the same, and or you could really like go for it and fully expand. So where did you guys feel that you were, and what was going on in your life and in your work at the time that you decided to join?
Yeah, I would love to answer that. I think the biggest word that comes to me is overwhelm. Of being an owner of a business, launching an online coaching program, being a mother of two, a wife, on and on, right? And really not creating clear boundaries for my self-care and my time, and really feeling as if I like to think like the buoy out in the ocean that's getting knocked. And it was like I had to put up my little white surrender flag and say, it's time for me to get help. And what that looked like, it really came to me in that, like knowing Emily for quite a while before, just knowing the depth of work that she does, the focus on sisterhood, like really nurturing in such a genuine and down-to-earth way. Like that's what I felt really called to help me step into that next level of myself that was really intentional and purposeful. And that has significantly changed in my life as far as the way that my day looks, the way that I can set my boundaries and stay really firm in them in a loving way in my personal and professional life. So I can't say enough about how that's really changed the whole trajectory of like my business and my life.
Thank you for that. I love what you shared about like the focus on sisterhood and doing this a different way, because I think there are a lot of programs out there, a lot of coaches out there who are very masculine in their approach. And everybody's nodding. If you're listening to this on audio, everyone's nodding. It's kind of fun to see everyone bobbing their head at the same time. Yeah, but there is such like a Tony Robbins style aggressive approach to success that I think speaks volumes to how we are conditioned in our world, right? That we are raised to see success as one way and the path there as one way, and that there's not much space for creativity. There's not much space for those feminine energetics. There's not much space for being in community versus in competition with other people. So thank you for bringing that forward. I think that's a really important piece of what happens here. Okay, Natalie, how about you, love?
So I was feeling really lonely in my business, honestly, because I had done coaching before, but I was just starting out on my own. And I think we joked during our first intro call where I was like, I was Googling everything and buying like every $27 offer, and none of it was working at all. And so I just felt like I'm on this island. And so one of the reasons I went with this program was I had spoken to a lot of people, to your point, that it felt a little more masculine, or they did one-on-one programs. And I just loved the idea of the community piece of, my hope was I would have other women that like were in the similar situation, and I got that and more. And so for me, like that community piece was just absolutely key. And I could tell from your energy that you were going to bring similar women to the group. And that honestly for me has been just a huge piece of like, I no longer feel lonely in my business and how I'm running it, because I have the support network that I didn't have at all before, beyond like Google and things that just weren't working. So that's been huge for me.
Thank you for sharing that. I think the one thing that I often forget is so valuable about this is that piece, is the community, and not just any community, not just like, oh, women who are also building businesses. It's a very specific, as you can kind of see here, like very specific perspective or desire to do things differently and to really be a trailblazer in your industry, in your work, and to do it in a way that's soulful and supported, and that is very much based in community and bringing everyone with us as we rise higher. And I think that is just one of my favorite parts of watching this group unfold and watching what happens in also the Soulful Business Academy that you guys have access to as a bonus, with that extended network of other women that you get to connect with, and the collaborations that happen and the creative ideas that are sparked. That is like the coolest thing to see. And for me, you guys might not know this, but like seeing women who have been in the programs overlapping over the years, who are connecting with each other at all different times and spaces, is so cool. Like some of the women who were in one of the first programs that I ever led with a group called Freedom is Sexy, that was like a lifetime ago, they are still like meeting for coffee every week. It's so awesome. So I'm going to toss it over to Elizabeth to share a little bit about what her experience was, because she was actually she was doing like a side hustle situation and working full time.
Yeah. And so I was working full time in a corporation as a statistician, of all things, and teaching statistics at the university, and just doing consulting kind of on the side, just to bring in some extra cash. But I got to a point in my life where it's like, I just am not liking how it feels to be a part of these systems anymore. And that, especially because I don't fit, I don't fit those systems. So even though I can do the stats, I can run the numbers, I can do all those things, it didn't fit the authentic me. But I also knew that because I was a statistician and am a statistician, and my mind is very analytical and my perspective is very analytical and more on that masculine side, that I needed to be able to find somebody like Emily to really push me to balance. That a big problem I was having was feeling unbalanced, and being very, very good at my systems and at my planning, but not very good at being able to intuitively decide and feel what was right for me. And kind of like what Stacey was saying, really make sure that my own self-care was in that and in what I was doing, and that I was able to bring my authentic self to what I did. And so this program has been great for me to help push me out of that old comfort zone that I really wasn't comfortable with.
Yeah, I think that's so interesting too. And thank you for sharing that, because one of the things that I see that a lot of women need is those systems and those structures set up. But sometimes women come in and they're like, no, I'm good on that front. Like, I just need it to feel more spacious. And so then the systems and the things that we set up are in order to support your well-being, to support you feeling really the way you want to feel, to support the health of you and your business, that it really is this sort of holistic perspective of how is your business going to flow. And if you aren't taken care of, or if you feel off, then your business is going to feel that. It's going to feel the ripple effect of that, and it's going to look very different than it could if that was not a factor. So yeah, I love that point, because I think a lot of times when I talk about this program, I talk about like, what are the, what are the systems you need to set up to get to the next level? And while that is all true and also necessary, there's also this other piece of it that you're speaking to, which is like, how do we do this in a pleasurable way? How do we do it in a way that also honors all sides of ourselves, all aspects of ourselves, so that we aren't sacrificing our sanity or our well-being or our purpose or our mission for the sake of profitability? How do those things all intersect and merge and create and amplify together in such a more expansive way than they could individually. So yeah. Okay, we'll do one more on this question. Sarah.
I decided to join the BAC for a number of reasons. The first one is that I felt stuck in my business. There was nothing really propelling me forward or motivating me to make a much needed change. Before I started with this group, I knew that I wanted to rebrand everything. Emily really helped to encourage me through that process and connected me with really, really valuable resources. One being Becca Luna, who designed my website, as well as a number of other women who have worked through Emily's groups. And also she connected me with just this amazing group of really soulful women that have been such a wonderful point of encouragement. And I'm just really grateful for that. So that's definitely one reason I joined. The second reason I joined was because, and I don't share this lightly, my health has been really poor as of recently. And I was recently diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. So I've been kind of battling with this. How do I maintain my business and what I love doing, and also not compromise my health, because it's very taxing. And while it is, while it is a challenge for me to take a step back and delegate tasks, I am learning the value in doing that and how to do that through being in this group. I'm seeing, other women who have employees and how they manage them. And that's huge for me. Because I've sort of always been like a one-woman show. I like to kind of spearhead everything on my own. So releasing some of that control has been really, really good for me. And it's allowed me to really focus on how to move forward with my health and with my business. So yeah, I'm just eternally grateful for that, and wouldn't change any part of the past 6 months. Even with a pandemic going on, as horrible as that is, it really opened a door for a lot of us to have the time to be able to do this and do it full on, like full force. Just, yeah, I'm just really grateful for that. So yeah, that's all I have to say.
Thank you for saying that. I think, the cool part about being with, all of you through this moment, whether you've been in this for a few months or a year or whatever, this pandemic moment has really shown, it's illuminated a lot, I think, for all of us in our businesses. Like, where could things be more effective? Where could we pivot? Where could we get creative? But also, like, oh, what are other opportunities that I haven't thought of before that are new problems that I could present a new solution to? And how could my business actually show up and solve some of the problems that we're seeing today? How can I contribute in this moment? And I think, Sarah, you've done a really beautiful job of that, really seeing like, oh, where might I just expand my business? Like, it wants to grow and it wants to become other things too. And I think a lot of you have had that experience. I know Naomi has as well, with expanding her art offerings and so many things. And it's been really fun to get creative with you guys and to really look in your business for like, where's the sweet spot right now? Not just where is it normally when things are great? Like, how do we build resilience and sustainability in every sense of the word into your business model so that it is kind of like recession and pandemic proof? Like, how do we keep it operating at a level that you're happy with and that is quote unquote successful for you when shit's hitting the fan, because that's going to keep happening. The only thing we know about business is that the only constant is change. And so if we're not building that into the system, and if we're creating it really rigidly, it's going to not bend and it's going to break. So how do we create a resilient, sustainable bendy business that isn't fragile or rigid, but that is actually going to support you. So I think that's a really cool piece too of what happens here. Okay, let's talk about what's been your experience. Like, what's changed for you in your business over the course of the last however long you've been in the program? Because I know for all of you it's different. So what have been the shifts? What's changed for you? Where are you showing up differently as a woman, as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, as a leader? There's so many roles that you all play. I know some of you are moms. So yeah, I would love to hear. Let's go with Stacey first.
Awesome. Yeah. Everything has changed in the best way possible. Having a team and employees at the studio, really being able to, like Sarah was saying, step back and delegate no matter what that looked like, trusting in that, setting up different ways of systems and procedures that were really clear. But I think the biggest thing for me across the board is like standing in my voice and my truth and like showing up in that and letting go of the shit of like what people think, you know, and really saying, listening and speaking from that space of truth inside of me that says, you know, this is what feels right. My intuition is drawing me here and moving me forward. And so I think that's been huge in, you know, managing the team and then having clients there. And then on the coaching realm, as far as like putting myself visibly, you know, out into the world, like social media and speaking, you know, on podcasts and different things of that nature, like really building my confidence in my gifts, my story, what I have to offer. And just knowing that so deeply that it just shines from the way that I speak about it, right? And knowing that that's the way it's supposed to feel, that it's not supposed to feel really rigid or hard or, I don't know, unnecessary. And I think I have 2 daughters. So for me, like being a vision of that for them, of looking towards what I want to work for in my life versus like focusing on what's not working, like really moving that pendulum in the direction that I'm creating and co-creating has been beautiful for them to witness. And, you know, my husband's learning that. And I think that you were speaking to this earlier, that we're not taught this way of being and working in the world. And so when we create that and we stand in that, you know, not only does it create something in us that's so beautiful, but that collective starts to allow their awareness of what's possible to expand. So, you know, just to like circle back around, everything has changed in the best way possible.
Thank you for that. Yeah, I think that's a really beautiful point, that like the ripple that you create is real. Like we talk about the word impact all the time. I see it all the time on social media. So many coaches are using this term income and impact and up-level your income and impact. And when we really break it down and look at it in practice, when you're embodying that, that's what it looks like. Everything shifts, everything realigns, everything is up-leveled because you have shifted and everything in your life is shifting to meet you there in a new space and a new calibration. So yeah, okay, let's hop over to Naomi.
Awesome. So just like Stacey, everything has changed. Like I feel like my life in so many levels as I knew it did this like 180. So a year ago, I'm working in this dump of a tattoo studio with no clients, embarrassed for my clients to come. I didn't even have a week full of appointments, and I'm taking this like crazy step of trying to open up a studio, and I was going to do it by the new year, ended up doing it like a month early, and then my books are full. So I am like booked solid almost 3 months out. So just from like that business standpoint, like total shift. But I think the biggest and most valuable thing for me is I've shifted as a woman. I was this meek, quiet girl, 41-year-old girl, to this Wonder Woman of a powerhouse that is like so true to who she is. It doesn't have to like function inside of a box, can be in an industry and work authentically in it, you know? And I don't have to be like everyone else. I can do what feels good for me and be successful. And holy cow, I want to say the SH word. Can I say that? Like, holy shit. I've been able to stand up for myself and like not be bullied and stand up for my business and make it look the way that I feel is good for me and my clients. And I love to show up here in my space every single day. And now, like, I have an employee, I have 2 apprentices, and I am bringing in like triple what I was making a year ago. Like, that's huge. And I can stand up taller and talk louder. I feel like I'm yelling right now when I was so quiet and meek on our calls like a year ago. So super cool. Super
Wow.
cool.
It's so amazing. I just want to like clap and cheer and scream and jump around and celebrate you, because it's amazing. You said this to me the other day. You were like, I feel like I don't even recognize who I was, like, not even a full year ago. Which is, I think, like, we can talk about profitability and those kind of milestones and metrics and things and that version of success, you know, on that side of things in your business, which I think is a natural byproduct of you becoming who you're really here to be, right? Like, everything, when you do the deeper inner work to align, to kind of clear out the clutter, to let go of things that aren't serving you, to, you know, do the inner work that we've been doing, that you're speaking about, that has transformed you completely from the inside out. That's really what it's about. Like, that's how the transformation can really happen in a way that's long lasting and sustainable. Like, there's change and then there's transformation, right? There's change that's sort of like momentary. I can change a behavior, but then I'm back to doing the same thing later in a few months, or when that habit kind of wears off, or that behavior wears off, that change. But what you're speaking to, and what I love about this, is like, yeah, it's actual transformation. That's part of why it's called the Business Alchemy Circle, right? Like alchemy, which also is the name of your business now, which is another cool thing that happened. But yeah, like that real, true, sustainable change and transformation that happens is such an inside out thing that then shifts the way that you are, the way that you're being, and all that you're attracting, and all that you're allowing, and all that is changing for you, and the way that your business functions, and you show up to lead that business and your life. And it's like an upward spiral of goodness and abundance, which I love that you're also, you know, making 3 times as much and loving where you work and growing this team. And I know your vision for your business is even so much bigger than where it is now. It's only continuing to expand and expand and expand as you take the next 3 steps. It's like, okay, new vision, already checked off those boxes. That's been one of my favorite things to witness you doing specifically, is just like, okay, the intention, oh, it's way early. Okay, great. Now what? So awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, let's hop over to Taylor.
Hi. So I decided that the BAC was what I needed at that time because I had hit a plateau. So I felt like I'd done everything that I could do and support for myself to that point. And I wasn't able to move past that. And I feel like it wasn't necessarily that my business wasn't doing well or that I wasn't growing in that way. I just didn't feel like, I felt like there was more for me to do, but I didn't even know what that more was yet. And so that was, I felt like I needed somebody to really kind of coax that out of me and help me discover what my next steps were to really launch off of the plateau that I was stuck on. And, you know, Emily, you said this would happen, but you said a lot of times the women who take this program have results happen like in half the time that they think they were. And when we set our goal at the beginning, it was what I'm doing right now, 2 months in, was my 6-month goal. And I didn't really believe you, not because I don't think you're great.
Right. It doesn't sound believable, but it's actually true.
Because I couldn't even see what I didn't know yet. And it took us just those first few times to really flesh out what my program is now. And I'm doing it. Like, I did it. It's out there. Like, it's in the world. It's having a great response. And this was what I thought we would be completing at the end of our 6 months, was fleshing and developing this program together. And we did it in 2.
Yeah.
Which was
so awesome.
Crazy. And I'm not really even sure if I answered your question, Emily, but
no,
there you have
that's
it.
perfect. I love that. And I think, you know, for you, one of the things that I am just thinking of, like, what's created that result in such a short period of time, I think you really leaned into the additional support available. Like, you didn't just come to the one-on-one sessions and our group calls. You were like, we've been chatting on Voxer, which everyone has access to me through in this program, through a group thread, and then individually. And you and I have been back and forth a lot. Like, I've been pretty, you know, my eyes and ears and hands have been in your stuff, like, as you've been developing it. And I think that really helps to accelerate, because you're not getting so stuck in your own head, of kind of like the perfectionistic tendencies that a lot of us hold, of like, oh, it's not good enough to put out yet. Oh, okay, let me like set this down, or I'm going to try to muscle it out or force my way through. And instead of that, you have this really beautiful, like, okay, bring it to someone else in the group, or bring it to me, and we can work it out and kind of massage it and and let it be what it's trying to become, and notice like what's off and what could be better, and okay, let's make these edits and let's get it out much faster than otherwise.
Yeah. And I think too, I really took advantage of the your other program that we have access to.
Yeah.
I'm forgetting the name of it right
the
now.
SBA.
Yes.
Soulful Business Academy. Yeah.
All I could think of was your podcast name. Yeah, so I did like all the modules in 1 week. That accelerated it. But those extra resources were really, really helpful in like getting my ideas rolling too, so that we could talk about it at our one-on-one. So those extra resources are really, really good as well, just as valuable.
Yeah, there's a lot here. Like, if you want it, it's available. Okay, Elizabeth, how about you?
So I guess as the BAC veteran here, it's being my
really
third
are.
That's kind of weird. Didn't know that was going to happen. I can say that every single time that I've been in the BAC, it's been a new kind of transformation, a new kind of shift, a new kind of change. And I would have been great with any one of them, but having them together and have them kind of flow together has really been incredible. So my life, my business, and me as a person is completely 180 different from when I first started my first BAC program. And I can say that what really changed was going from that doing to being, where I could do it. I could handle it. I could throw down with anybody, anytime, anywhere, make it happen. If it needed to happen, it was going to happen. And that was no problem. But being able to begin to make the shift and see that not just my business, but myself as a woman needed to be able to have the space to grow and transform and change really organically and in a different way. And that by just being and being in that state of being so that everything could come in to transform and to build has been huge for me. Where now my business stays going. I don't have to do anything. I am constantly getting business and work. Even when I don't want it, I go to sleep and wake up and I have work, which is wonderful and it's great. But also being able to see that now that that's able to just flow without me putting in the effort, I'm able to step into other spaces, whether it's starting another business, collaborating with other people, adding on some of those new things and something different to my business, which just doing it, I wouldn't have ever been able to do. That wouldn't have ever been able to happen.
Yeah, one of the coolest things, I feel like you and Naomi similarly, well, really everybody, but I'm just thinking like you guys have been here the longest, so I guess I'm seeing it more frequently. What I've learned about what happens for you both is that like you just keep getting more business without trying so hard. It's really cool. It feels so magical. It's like, oh, I'm booked out. How did that happen? Or like, oh, I have 10 new proposals today. Like every time I talk to you guys, there's like another thing. And it's almost like you have just like a new set of challenges as you've, Elizabeth, stepped out of your full-time job and into your business full-time consulting, and then building another business and doing like really developing this business and building a team and all the things that you've been doing. It's almost like with each new level there are just a different new set of challenges that come along with that growth that then we can kind of tackle together, and it allows you to continue expanding, which I think a lot of people, they hit that upper limit or they hit that glass ceiling internally, and they only allow themselves to go so far or to have so much success or to make so much money because we all have this. Like if anyone is interested in exploring this further, I recommend the book, The Big Leap by Gay Hendricks. It's all about upper limits. And I think that's the beauty of being in a space like this, is that that's not the thing that's going to stop you. Like usually we're just so in our own way, unfortunately, left to our own devices. It's like our default mode is kind of baseline. We can only push so far beyond it until we kind of like don't allow ourselves to go any further. But what I've watched you do is like continue to expand and expand and expand and expand and expand and grow and grow and grow and grow and grow without letting those internal limitations like tell you that you can't keep going further or bigger or in a different direction or whatever the thing might be. Okay, Sarah, you're still muted, love. There we go. We got it.
So this experience has really opened my eyes to other female entrepreneurs that I can collaborate with. Elizabeth, you are talking about the collaboration opportunities, and that has been something that I hadn't really thought about before with approaching my business. I was kind of, like I said, one-woman show. I've got this by myself. I don't need anybody, and that's just not true. In fact, it's not. I don't want that for myself, and I don't want that for my business. So I have started approaching my business in a totally different and kind of refreshed way. I want to build my business not only by creating beautiful memories for people, but also in a way that I can help other people and build up other women's confidence. So I had a really unique opportunity recently. Basically, I was trying to get creative with the way that I would bring in income because I've had a lot of events postponed or canceled due to the pandemic. And so I said, you know what, there's got to be ways that I can navigate through this. And and sort of just take all of this negative energy and everything that was around me that was just like combating, and just put it out of my mind. And so I basically launched an annual container that I was giving to, or selling to, how do I say this? That I was selling online. And clients were coming to pick up at my house, and I was doing deliveries, all contactless. It was really, really great. What made it really, really special was that in that process, I was supporting 6 other small businesses. So there was a local soil company, there was a landscape supply company, there was a grower, there was, another person who makes containers, like the physical ceramic containers. I mean, it was just like my mind opened up to this whole idea of, oh my gosh, like this is limitless. I can help all of these other people and raise up their businesses while doing that for myself. And it took away a little bit from that sort of approach to business in a man's world where we're all competing with each other. It doesn't need to be that way. And that was really encouraging for me, because I would get really discouraged when I would see other florists, scoring all these other opportunities and growing their business faster than I was. And I was like, what am I doing wrong? And then I realized my authentic self, the self that I want to build my business with, is built off of kindness, respect, and just giving and showing love to other people. I don't have to put other people down to raise my business up. And it became more abundantly clear now more than ever. And I'm just like humbled by that. So I think I'm really just very fortunate. I'm counting my blessings, that's for sure.
I love that. That's such a great point, because I know that this is a really common struggle that most women have in their businesses at one point or another, or maybe it's kind of like keeps popping in and out again, as we think we've like whacked that, like we're playing whack-a-mole with comparison a little bit. Like we go in and out of it. And I think that's such a beautiful point and such a beautiful learning and discovery for you, is like, oh yeah, that doesn't have a place here in my business, because I believe in something totally different. Like I believe in a totally different paradigm where there aren't just a select few of coveted spots for success, where even in, a quote unquote saturated industry, which I would say probably every industry is if you really look at it. And if you're only surrounding yourself with people who are doing the same thing as you, right? We all think our industry is saturated, but really that doesn't mean we can't be successful. And what does that even mean, to be saturated? Like that term in itself is basically saying there's too much of something in a negative way, versus like there are an abundance of options in my industry, right? There's something for everyone here. So I think that's such a beautiful piece, Sarah. Thank you for weaving that into the conversation, because that is something that I think sort of gets like incubated here in our spaces together, and then taken out into the way that you do business and life otherwise, and the relationships you build with other women and other entrepreneurs outside of this space. You're not just, it's almost like a little breeding ground for how we treat ourselves and each other, and how we learn to relate and connect and see the world differently here. Yeah, thank you for sharing that. Okay. My last question for all of you is, do you have any advice or words of wisdom or encouragement, or any sort of like recommendations for people who are looking at the Business Alchemy Circle, considering whether to join, and sort of in that process of thinking about it, considering it, thinking about the investment, thinking about the amount of time? Okay, let's go with Naomi.
So silly. In the beginning, I was so fearful. So I'm going to speak from the financial side of it, I was so fearful. And Emily can attest to this. Like, I wanted to, like, I committed and then I like wanted to jump. I was like, oh, fudge, you know, like, I don't know if I can do this. I don't know if I can put the time in. I don't know. I was like all over the place. And then Emily and I had this like beautiful conversation. And it was one of those moments where I'm like, this has to work. And I remember saying that to Emily, like, this just has to work. Like, this just has to work. My advice is to just jump in head first and go for it, because you can literally do whatever you put your mind and your heart into. Fear is just false evidence appearing real, and it's there just to distract you. You know, and if you're scared, you probably need to be doing it. Unless it's like jumping off a building, don't do that. But like, when it comes to this, something that's going to transform you from the inside out, not just your business, but you as a whole beautiful human, it's worth every minute. It's worth every penny. Like, you're investing in yourself. It's not just a business. It's not just this or just that. You are literally investing in you and transforming yourself into something so much greater than you'll ever believe possible. So I say jump in. Like, don't hesitate. That's my advice.
I love that. Yeah, I think a lot of times we forget that we're actually investing in ourselves, not the thing, right? Like, you're investing in yourself through the Business Alchemy Circle or through working with someone, but you're really investing in you. And I think at the end of the day, like you said, it's basically like, do I trust myself to follow through and to make this work for me? Not like, oh, is this going to work for me? Because it's like works when you show up, right? and put in the work. Okay, Taylor, would you like to share?
Yeah, I think what really sealed the deal for me was I realized I was probably going to spend the next year trying to figure out how to launch myself off where I was. And I can't get that year back, right? So I realized that my most valuable resource was time. Money will come and go and ebb and flow and come back and whatnot, but I never get that time that I spend trying to figure out how to do something on my own when it clearly wasn't working. So I was nervous about it because it's the most I've ever invested in my business before, but I knew it was the right decision because after I signed up for it and got off the phone with Emily, I never thought about it again, the price tag. I just knew that obviously I had all these resources now available to me and I was going to go into it 100% and make the use of all of it that was there for me now. And I wasn't going to not allow myself to do that. Like I never thought about the price tag again because I knew what I was getting in return. And I knew I was going to be able to, even if it wasn't financially getting back, which that's already been, proven that will be happening, but it was my time and having somebody help guide me to eliminate some of those pitfalls that I would have done on my own. So it was kind of a no-brainer after that. And then I never thought about it again because it was what I needed to do.
Yeah, I love that. That's such a great point because truly, like, our only limited resource is time. We can't get that back. We can always figure out creative ways to make more money, and I can help you with that. That's no problem. That's actually the easy part. Yeah, and I think there is so much support available in this program, which I think is really what you're saying, right? It's like I've set this up in a way that, like, I really want every single person who comes through this experience to have everything they need at their fingertips, whether that's another woman in sisterhood and accountability partner, whether that's like support every single week on a live call, whether that means you are diving into training modules on your own time and working through and applying those to your business, or whether that's you need me on Voxer, like to chat about something or work through a block that's come up, it's there, it's available. So yeah, absolutely. I hear you saying, like, I felt supported, so I didn't really have to think about it again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I knew that it would work based on how it was set up. I didn't see that I could fail.
Yeah.
I didn't see how that could be a possibility after talking with you. So
amazing. Yeah. Good. I'm glad. Okay, we'll do one more. Natalie.
Yeah, for me, I think I had gotten to the point where I was ready to invest in myself, but as I was looking at a range of programs, honestly, I was like, I am new to my business, and so I was worried about the group that I would go into in the program of being someone new. And I was like, am I just going to be overwhelmed by working with people that maybe have had really established businesses and have figured all of this out, and I'm going to be the new one? And what I love about your program is it is structured to help people that are brand new like me and people who have been in this for a while, because through your modules and the weekly calls, like I've gotten the support I needed and also been able to, I think the great part is like seeing women that are maybe 6 months, a year, 2 years ahead of me. I'm like, oh, this is where I'm going. Like, this is all possible. This is where I'm headed. So that was the part to me was like the only moment where I paused and I was just like, is it right for where I am? And it was. So I would say there's huge opportunity wherever you are in your business. And then I'd say the final piece, I was like, can I commit myself to this? Because there is work that you have to do, and to get the most out of it, you have to be part of that community. And I'd say the community part has just been so natural. Like, you want to, like, I separately talk to the women in my group and we have like separate happy hours set up. Like, the community feels absolutely so natural that it's very like welcome in your life. So it doesn't feel like work at all.
I love that. I actually didn't know that you guys had extra happy hours set up, and now I'm like, oh, I want to come. That sounds fun. So amazing. I love that. Thank you so much for sharing, and thank you all so much for being here and for your time and your energy and your love and all of the things to just share your experience here with people who might be considering this journey. So thank you to everyone who's watching, listening, however you're receiving this into your eyes and ears. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching and tuning in. And I will talk to you all soon. Oh, by the way, if you want to check out these amazing women, I have all of their info in either the show notes on the podcast or below this video if you're watching it on my website. So go check them out. Go follow them on Instagram. Go sign up for their free gifts and all the beautiful things on their websites. And if you heard something that you're like, oh, I think I need that today, reach out to that woman because she might be able to help you with something that you're needing in your business or in your life or your health or in whatever area of your life right now that you are needing some growth and support. Okay. Thank you.